Welcome back, ladies and gents. Here we are. We are at Thruxton, which is round 4 of the Bike Shed Pronto series. Actually, I believe Pronto are sponsoring this race. And yeah, we're at Thruxton. So we've had 3 rounds already here, and this is the 4th one of the series. They run every Tuesday night in April, so it's good to get this series back underway. So here we are, straight into it. This is the category 2-3, and I believe there's about 50 of us. So there's some strong riders in here, and there's a lot to play for. I'm 4th in the series at the minute, and 1st to 3rd, not too far points-wise in front. But what I'm going to do, I had a good result, and actually ended up riding pretty well, to be fair. So I'm going to split the video up into 4 sections. This is the first lap. As you can see, it's pretty steady. We are obviously just starting out, but this section of the course, the headwind was gusts of up to 50 kilometers an hour. Although, yeah, it's beautiful, blue skies. Almost every race we've had here, I'm in a quick chat with one of the lads. Always have a bit of a catch up on the first lap. So yeah, the wind these past races has always been a very strong headwind the first half of the course, and then a massive tailwind up the last part, which is actually a bit of a uphill drag to the finish. So yeah, first lap, we're always sort of settling in, warming up. Although you can warm up on the circuit before we start, it's good to get your legs pumping the first lap. The laps are about 5 minutes, so plenty of time to warm up. And obviously, you know, we're in quite the bunch here. I'm on a nice position here. If you ride on the right, and you've got all the lads there to the left of me, they're almost protecting me. So it's always a good position to ride on this part of the course, on the right hand side. But yeah, essentially there's some good teams here. You've got the tap team, you had Pronto, you had Draft. I ride for Enhanced D, but I was the only rider here. This is another team, the London Raptor lot. That's actually Archie, who's winning the series at the minute. Unfortunately, I believe he had a bit of a slow puncher halfway in, but still rode pretty good and nursed the puncher home. So yeah, I think that sort of put dividends to his night. But yeah, like as you can see, it's just pretty steady. There's nothing special about the first lap. And the other races that we've done here, the brakes always formed on like lap 2, maybe 3. I believe the wet race that we did 3 weeks ago, the lads kicked it straight after the first lap, and that's when that brake got away. But tonight here is a bit different. I think everyone's a bit excited. A lot of the strong lads, there's quite a few teammates here. Quite a few of the Raptor lads. Like I said, the Draft, you know, seemed like a lot more teams had teammates. But yeah, this bit was fun. It was slightly downhill with a massive tailwind. I think we were hitting like 70 kilometers an hour. And obviously that's the commissioner in the van, the car over there, always watching us. But yeah, it's quite a long video. It's 20 minutes. And like I said, it's split in 4 sections. I want to show you the first lap, generally how it goes. I then show you a lot of the race. I do speed up quite a lot, so you don't have to just sit and watch the whole bunch going round. There's another strong lad, I think that was Toby, just going past. He did pretty well last week. And yeah, up this, it's not a big incline here at Thruxton. I don't know what it is, 2-3% maybe. But when you've got tired legs from the rest of the course, this can tickle, and you go into a chicane in a second. It's probably one of the hardest finishes of a race circuit, because the chicane almost robs your speed and you can't really attack each other until out the other side. There's George Smith, really good rider. He knows the circuit well. But yeah, let's say we're about to come around first. This first lap I think was actually quite slow, like 5 minutes 40. Yeah, so nothing to write home about. But all the other races, we had the preems on lap 2, and we all believed it was lap 2 again, and a few of us actually missed the preem. I think it was actually lap 3, so you can get good points getting the preems, and I was looking to get good points. So yeah, this is the bit I fast forward. I think I zoom about 30 minutes into a minute. It'd be nice to go in this fast, but yeah, we certainly weren't. But yeah, like I say, this part of the course, we're always hugging the right hand side, and if you always got someone in front of you, you're going to save a lot of energy. And yeah, we all stayed together. Nothing really went like we thought it would, but I think a lot of us knew that the brakes would go. So if you're saving their legs a little, you know you've got the punch to get across. And yeah, like I say, we all enjoy this downhill, getting top speeds. Yeah, I'm trying to find. I think this was what I thought was the preem lap. So I'm moving up. You know, quite a few gaps had formed, which I didn't realise. So here I am. I think this is Archie in front of me, actually. Oh no, there's Archie. So if I got a few extra points on him, but it turned out that wasn't it. So this is actually when the break formed on lap 4, I believe. So we are now 20 minutes in, and here George, he knows when to attack, and I didn't actually realise a lad has already gone off the front, and I didn't even know that. And a couple of these lads here in front of me, they rode really well. But here, I'm going to turn the camera in a minute, and you see George just puts the hammer down. Because a bit of a headwind, it's a good time to attack, because unless you're on a wheel, you're going to be eating a serious amount of headwind along this section. And as we turn into the chicane, obviously the headwind settles off a little bit. But yeah, the camera's going to turn. This Raptor lad on the right, this big lad, big strong lad, he rode well tonight. And yeah, you see right now, I put this on, George just goes for it, and everyone's like, should we follow? And I think one other lad from draft followed him, but everyone else sort of didn't really go for it. So that's technically 3 lads up the road. There's Archie. I was sort of waiting for him to go, and he didn't. And like I've done the other 2 rounds, it was this corner here. I had a quick look around. You don't see it now, but I thought, you know what, I need to get across. I don't want to miss the break, because I missed it on the second week. And I just go quick look, no one's on me. And obviously I could see the 2 lads, George and the draft lad. I think it's Thomas Adby. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. So I just put the hammer down. Yeah, no one's behind me. This could be the start of the winning break, which was the same as the week before. But last week I made a mistake, and actually some lads latched on. Where here I made sure I was alone, so I've caught the 2 lads up, which actually tickled a little bit. It doesn't look that much, but it took a bit getting across there. It was quite a headwind, and obviously George and the other lad, they put a bit of a dig to get into this breakaway scenario. So I essentially think, there's only 3 of us. And at this point I look over my shoulder, and a Raptor lad and a Reflex lad had joined forces and went for it themselves to break across to us, which was actually perfect for us, because 5 going around here is a lot easier than 3. So there I've had a look, and I see 2 lads coming, but then a massive gap back to the peloton. And with this now, the tailwind behind us, we're able to put in a good effort. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to move over a little bit, let these other 2 lads pull through, because obviously they had speed coming from behind catching us. So I pull in, and this is basically how the winning break was formed. There we are, the 5 of us, and still I didn't realise there was still 1 lad, Rob Francis, an absolute amazing TTer. had snuck away. So I'm just catching my breath a little bit. You know, it was a big dig to get across to George and Tom. And yeah, I think it's now we start. Although we actually, for the next minute or two, we sort of play with each other. And then we realise we should stop playing with each other and actually work together to make sure we make this break work. Because it's quite easy to get into a break, but if you don't work well together, the break's just not going to work, because 5 lads against 50 behind isn't going to hold it off on a course like this. You know, like say this bit is the incline going into the final chicane, and yeah, again, sort of pull through, put a bit of a dig in, and yeah, like I say, a beautiful evening. And I think it's now we sort of start to realise, there we go, go on, let's sort of rotate. And basically you just threw and off. That's all we had to do. So there then, I pull in, I say the front lad's off. And the more you work together, it's easier to get a gap. Because we knew once we started to commit that we need to fully commit. And that is essentially how the rest of the race worked. I think I speed the next bit up, where you just see us, you know, through, and we're actually talking to each other now. You know, every time someone went through, you would say like, okay. Well, actually this bit, maybe they didn't pull through. So pull through again after the reflex and the Raptor lad had come through. So again, it's easy this point of a breakaway. If it's not smooth, it's gonna just go tits up. And yeah, that Raptor lad is pretty strong. He was a nice one to sit behind because he was so tall. But yeah, again, I did the little arrow, and these lads know how to race. So this is it. This is when the lads fully committed, you know, through and off. Although I thought that bit back there, we were doing it. It's not until I watched the footage back and realised once we started going and committed to it, we were able to work very well together. And I think Rob, he spent about 2 laps up the front on his own. Maybe saw we were catching, and it was still another 20 odd minutes of the race to go, and dropped back to us. So then there were 6 of us. I think it's the ladies here on the right. I think the 3 of them were racing. So yeah, this shows just how smooth it can be. You know, as you pull through, nice and smooth, just pull to the left. And even if you're not in a breakaway and you're catching the breakaway, or you get dropped with a group, if you work well together, you are gonna make it easier on yourself. I say if you are tired, skip a turn. But you know, if you're doing a through and off, just try and do your absolute best, because the better you work together, the faster you will go. And our lap times, once we committed, we were able to go literally the same lap time. I think we varied 3 seconds, and I think we were doing 4:58s and 5:01 for about 6 laps. It wasn't until the last lap. So here we go. You know, I'll speed it up a little bit just so you don't watch it, and then in a minute I'm going to skip to the last lap when all the fun and games begin to try and win the race. So yeah, like I say, it was just literally that for 20 minutes. But here we go. We've now got Rob with us, and we've all just split up. You know, it's the last lap. We've got, I think, 2 minutes on the rest of them. And Rob just absolutely fully commits. And I'll be honest, we all sort of, I think we just looked at each other. I just pulled, I think George actually pulled a big pull, maybe to wear us out. but sitting on George's wheel, I was cooked. So I needed a little bit of time to let the legs recover, because at the round before, I was trying to be a bit of a hero, pulling massive turns at the end, trying to catch the lads who slipped away, and I sat on the front way too much on the last lap, and I knew today that wasn't going to happen. And I think the Raptor lad had actually tried to bridge across to Rob, but this bit was hard. So like I say, we're motoring. If I don't know if we had maybe the 5 of us worked together, might have caught Rob, but Rob's a very, very fast and good TT rider, so he knows how to be aero. And yeah, I say, with half a lap to go, no one wants to do the full lead out into the finish. So again, the Raptor lag goes again, but with this downhill, once we start getting up to speed, it's hard to stay away. And 2 of them are sort of putting a dig, but when you know you've still got the uphill to go, the chicane, the sprint finish, it's easy to think, you know what, I'm going to settle off. So I actually just sit up. I'm sitting on these guys' wheels, because if you saw my video from the week before, I think from here till halfway up the hill, I was leading the lads out, because obviously no one was going to pull through. But lucky for me, sort of the 2 bigger riders of our 5-man break now, because obviously Rob's gone, I think we've all accepted we are racing for second, which is fine for me. It's good points, it's BC. And yeah, the Raptor lad sort of pulls, and I sit on this reflex lad, because again, I don't want to be the first one leading them all up this drag. And although this reflex lad was pulling well, I actually got more wind protection behind this lad, which was obviously helping the legs. You know, we're still motoring along here. It's a bit annoying. I couldn't get my data, like the power number speed, on the video tonight, which is a shame. So yeah, everyone's looking over their shoulders. So it all gets a bit antsy. And with a bit of a tailwind, you're getting a push. So I'm there getting some breaths. I've got George and the draft lad behind. But I looked slightly to my left and I can see some movement going on. So they drop down to the hoods. Drop down to the drop, sorry. And well, I pull through. I didn't want to let the speed drop, because I know going into the chicane, it's from about here. You need to be committed. And actually, although I'm sat down doing about 500 watts, and I thought, bugger it, I'm going. And you can see there, George is sprinting, and I'm giving it everything. I'm not letting this go. So dig deep, and yeah, come in second place, which I'm more than chuffed with. You know, I've had a 6th, 7th, and 8th by not racing correctly, and this one, I thought I'm going to play it a bit safer. So yeah, we'll have a little chat, fist bumps. Well done, lads. That was great racing. You know, at the end of the day, all there to have a bit of fun. So yeah, thanks for watching, and hopefully you didn't get bored to sleep. But thanks to Bike Shed Racing for a great series. I ended up second. Happy days.